The other issue that people don't always understand is that people are people. Yes, you have a lease. Yes, you have all the recourse in the world, and you have rules and regulations, and you have all sorts of bells and whistles to try to make things as easy as possible for residents and our owners. Um, but people are people, and people are going to be what they are and do what they're going to do sometimes.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here with Derek Morton. Derek started NetGain Property Management Services, LLC, in 2016, focusing on striking the right balance between both the owner's wants and the tenant's needs. Having worked in the real estate industry for the past 20 years, he brought with him unique experience and insights to help separate NetGain from other property management companies in the area. Since starting, they've pioneered different and creative solutions to the many issues facing the housing industry. Excited to get into it. Thanks for being here, Derek.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it sounds like you've really carved out a great area for yourself in the Utah market. Tell us about how you entered the industry to begin with.
So when I started NetGain about 10 years ago, I was just coming from the title industry. And I had been in that industry for about 13 years and just realized I'd kind of plateaued with the company where I was at. And I mean, we're in a small town. And so everyone already knew me. The agents that were going to use me were going to use me. And those that hated me were going to hate me still. And, there's no overcoming that. I was just kind of like, well, do I want this to be the rest of my life? And so I had a buddy that about a year before we started NetGain was going, well, let's start a real estate brokerage. And I'm like, I really don't want to start a real estate brokerage. I don't like transactional real estate. And so we settled on property management and started doing research. And little did I know, I had to start a real estate brokerage and become a licensed real estate agent. So everything I didn't want to do, I had to do anyways. And so we were off. We started really slowly and just tried to build the business model based on relationships and just try not to suck and do right by our owners and our residents. And as we do that, that's been the secret sauce to our growth. Being able to bring in employees that buy into that has been huge because it just keeps that culture as we grow, and people genuinely know that we care.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you strike that balance? What are some tips where you kind of keep everyone happy?
Understanding everyone's motives. Tenants want to stay housed and owners want money. That's why they do the invest. That sounded really coarse, and I didn't mean it to, but that's why they invested. It's a supplemental income, or it's their main income, but that's what they wanted to do. And so striking the balance and going, okay,
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
How do we minimize turnover, or how do we get this unit filled quicker to make things work with tenants? So like a couple of years, it was during COVID, we actually dropped our rent to income. Went against industry norms. For instead of going from 3x or being at 3x like is the industry norm, we dropped it to 2x because we realized incomes were going up way fast, or rents were going up way faster than income. But we also needed to balance the owner's investment and be able to protect it. So we increased our standard deposit. Instead of 1x, we went to 1.5x, and then we balanced and go, okay, is that going to make us more or less competitive? So we looked into different security deposit alternatives. So with that, we were able to go bring in Obligo, which is integrated with our software. And then we use LeaseGuard, which is like an insurance product. So they pay a monthly premium, just like it's their car insurance or homeowners insurance, those sorts of things. And then just make a claim at the end. So it actually, between Obligo and LeaseGuard, if they use those, they're actually paying less for the deposit than they would be, and getting more protection than they would if they were paying the cash deposit. So it's actually making our products or our units more competitive on the market as opposed to less competitive, and being able to increase actually the protection for the owners. And that's been huge. And so just being able to look at that going, okay, what are we seeing? What's the problem? Whether it's, mental health issues, we have a lot of mental health issues. So we've looked at different things like to do that. One of the things that we actually did, and it didn't work quite as well as we'd hoped, is we'd actually had a partnership about 6 years ago with betterhelp.com. So all of our residents had access to 1 free month of mental health, which was awesome. And I was way excited for it because we've just seen the rise of mental health. And mental health impacts your ability to maintain housing. It impacts your relationships, impacts your ability to keep a job, all these things, right? The issue is, and I should have seen it coming, and like we were talking before we hopped on, sometimes you try stuff and it works and sometimes it doesn't. But in this particular case, the hurdle was we kind of had to give the referral. So if someone is struggling to pay rent and they don't want to talk to you, because they're afraid of what you're going to say, are they really going to trust you enough to be like, hey, I can't pay rent because my depression just hit really, really bad and I haven't been able to work, and I can't afford mental health. And so like, I just don't want to do, and then they're going to lose housing, right? That's a difficult conversation, and that's a high barrier of entry. And it makes it difficult. So I'll give a real life experience going into student housing. We had a student that he had mental health issues that we didn't know about, and I mean, nor do you ask. Like it's none of our business. But he had a mental health break, and he'd felt it coming. This poor kid felt it coming. Tried to get access to the mental health center at the university, and they put him on a 2-week period. At the same time, he was trying to get on Medicaid because he's lost his job, and he's on a waiting list for that, so he could get his meds. All of this waiting period, within there, he had a break that was pretty ugly, and almost violent. And so he lost his housing.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And so, I mean, that's not going to help him. He was one semester away from graduating. Then he had to try to find new housing, which he struggled to do. Was still trying to get on Medicaid. He was, and last I ran into him, and he still hasn't finished school because he had to drop out because he had to get money, get a full-time job so that he could try. But he's just like this vicious cycle that he thought he had it figured out. Different things in life happened. And now when he was on the up, had everything going in the favor, doing everything he should do. And sometimes life happens and he wasn't able to get the support and the help that he needed. And who does that hurt? It hurts him immensely. It hurt the owner because now he had a vacancy. Luckily, it wasn't, we had to evict. I mean, the poor kid understood and we worked with his mom and were able to leave amicably. But it doesn't help anyone, right? And so part of those creative solutions are understanding and trying to learn to recognize that there's moments. I mean, one, also in the investor's life, sometimes an investor, they may have to pull out. There's certain things in their life that it's like, you really can't afford to have an investment right now.
Yeah.
Like this is high risk. If you're struggling the month to month on that investment and you're not going to be able to do a repair, like if it needs new carpet and you're like, I really can't afford to do that. Like I'm broke. And you can't replace it and the carpet's crap. Like what kind of resident are you going to get? And it just becomes this compounding thing, right? And sometimes it's like, well, maybe this property isn't right for you. Let's 1031 it, use the equity and find something else. And sometimes with it's the residents, like, okay, what's the best case scenario to help you here? What's the problem? How do we work to find the solutions? We tell our residents all the time, there's very few things that we can't work with you on if you're not willing to communicate.
Yeah.
If you're willing to communicate, there's really nothing, unless it's egregious and illegal, like that we're not going to be able to work with you on. And as long as you're doing that, like, and sometimes that solution is going to be like, okay, like this is too far gone. What's the best way we can part amicably? So you don't have to be evicted, because in Utah, it's pretty, like, you get evicted, you can go 3 times rent to income, or not 3 times rent, 3 times troubles, rents, and damages. So say they owe $1,000 of rent, that turns into a $3,000 judgment plus damages. And then they have the eviction on the record. I mean, and that's a pretty big punishment. And it's hard to overcome because, oh, you just got evicted. And it's doubly bad if it's us, because a lot of the other management companies at least know, like, hey, we're willing to work with people. And so it's like, if you were evicted from NetGain, it's like, you really screwed up.
Yeah.
And so how do we do that? Still protecting them. Sometimes it's getting the owners involved. Sometimes we make the deal and then we just tell the owner, like, hey, here's the deal we made. Here's the situation. Sometimes they're a little mad. They're like, I wish you would have brought us in, because I would have, and like, this is the best we could get.
Yeah.
Like, we've worked with them. You've been frustrated because they've just struggled to be able to make it work. And so this is the best we can get. And so take the win.
Yeah.
And that's the other part. Sometimes educating the owners to be like, take the win. It's not a great win. You didn't run up the score. It may have been a last second buzzer beater, but a win's a win. Take the win. So that's some of the creative and finding that balance and some of the ways that we've been able to do so, and recognizing, where some of those problems lie, and try to find win-win solutions.
Yeah, you're really looking at it with a personal approach, not just, plugging and playing with a bunch of tenants, a bunch of investors. It seems like you're treating everybody as an individual, which I think goes a long way in the management industry. You kind of mentioned some things that, maybe investors aren't super educated on. What are more things that you wish more investors knew, first of all, before hiring a property management company, and then also just long term rentals in general?
It's not always easy money. So for one, like I hear all the podcasts, all the books, and all the social media ads. Like real estate's easy money, and it can be until stuff blows up.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's not always easy money, and just bet on something going wrong and factoring that in.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
The other issue that people don't always understand is that people are people. Yes, you have a lease. Yes, you have all the recourse in the world, and you have rules and regulations, and you have all sorts of bells and whistles to try to make things as easy as possible for residents and our owners. Um, but people are people, and people are going to be what they are
Mhm.
and do what they're going to do sometimes. Like we had a owner that we had to have a difficult conversation. She's frustrated, and I'm like, I don't know what you expect me to do.
Yeah.
We'd rented a place to a young couple that was great. I mean, we went through the application with her. Like afterwards, I'm like, 'cause she's like, "How did you miss that?" And I'm like, "Would you have rented to them?" And she's like trying to find stuff. I'm like, "They have an 800 credit score. They're making this much a year.
Mhm.
Like that's way above our requirements.
Yeah.
Please tell me where the red flags are." Well, about 6 weeks after moving in, they decided to get a divorce, and because they were getting a divorce, they basically just said, "Screw you" to everyone, and just up and left and turned into a big fight with us. And she's like, "Well, I was talking to the HOA, and the neighbor that lived like next door was just like, yeah, they just basically said the property manager's not going to do anything to them. And I don't know if I want that kind of a property manager. Here's what it says in our lease. We've now turned them into collections. We didn't do nothing, but if they just up and leave, I can't lock them in. Like
Mhm.
I don't know what your expectations are here."
Yeah.
Um, so just understanding that it's frustrating, but people are people, and sometimes we're the people that are idiots too,
Yeah.
because we all sometimes we look back and you're like, I didn't do that right. And so like those are the two big things, and then three, like if you're going to choose your management company, choose it based on someone that you can trust,
Mhm.
and and it shouldn't always be based on price. Sometimes it's like, oh, I'll do it for 5%. And you're like, sweet. And you're like, there's a reason they're doing it for 5%.
Right.
They're giving you the bare minimum, or they're feeing you up the yin yang to make up. And you're like, oh, I'm paying more
Mhm.
um, than I would have before, an 8 or 10% that some of the others charged.
Yeah.
Um, so don't always base it on price, because price doesn't really tell you a whole lot. Um, Two, like take some time with them. If you're trying to choose someone off a 10-minute phone call, which a lot of them do, like it's funny. I'm like, you, I, wow, I was better at sales than I thought. Like, you interviewing anyone else? No, I just found you on Google. It works. So you have good reviews. And I'm like, thank you, but that's a big investment. Take some time. We've tried to kind of expand our sales process. Um, just so we can get a better idea of the owners that we're looking to onboard. Um, and then they can get a better idea of us and what we have to offer them to minimize any potential miscommunication during onboarding. And then we're expanding our onboarding process for these owners to make sure, okay, so we've got them on about 6 weeks later, then we'll, at that point, hopefully they've received a payment and different things. And I'll start walking them through like, hey, here's your online portal. Here's how maintenance works. Like, or here's our maintenance portal. Here's how you get access to all of this. Here's all the reports. Do you have any questions on this? And then we've got some other technologies that can help them walk through their life cap rate on their properties, and it's really sweet. And walk them through that so they're educated and they get a live look at everything on their property and all the technology we use, so they know exactly where they can get the information, so they're not wasting time going, what's going on with my property? Because you don't want to waste, like, time's valuable. They don't want to waste time. And if they do have a question, it's a much different question if they're like, instead of be like, hey, my owner payment was short. Do you know why my owner payment was short? I don't know. Let me dig everything up. You're like, oh, there was a, $200 repair. Did you look at your owner statement? Um, and so that's always the first question. Now, it took some time over the last few years to re-educate owners that I'd onboarded, like right at the start, where I'm like, I will babysit you. I will do everything. As we've scaled, we just can't to the same extent.
Yeah.
And so just being able to kind of prolong that onboarding to explain so they know where they can get answers so that they can find their answers quicker and they don't have to reach out to us. And then when they do, it's a much different conversation. So like one of my favorite technologies that we've added, and it's made life so much easier for us and our owners, is Show Mojo, and it's a showing scheduling software. But the data on it is amazing that I'm able to get. But it does a weekly update. Every Monday, my owners, when a property's on the market, they know how many leads we got, how many showings we have this next week, and then if any of the showings gave feedback. So if they gave feedback, that's all part of there. So if it's like, this should be rent, $500 cheaper, and there's 5 of them, they're saying that on feedback. Let's be honest, if it's that overpriced, we wouldn't have any showings. But that kind of feedback, it helps the owner be like, oh, okay. Or if they're like, oh, let's just try this $100 more on the rent. You're like, it's not going to rent. You're not going to get any leads, nothing. And after 2 weeks, they're not seeing it. Then they're able to get it. Or if we're getting lots of showings and we're not getting any feedback, it's a different question. Like, hey, I saw we had 5 showings last week and we don't have any applications. Do you know what's going on with that? And sometimes it's like, hey, this person, like, they're applying, here's the paperwork they're waiting for, and that's where they're at. That's a completely different conversation between a property manager and their owner, as opposed to being like, is anyone even looking at my property? Why isn't this rented?
Right.
And then with that, like the data when we're onboarding or when someone doesn't renew and we're putting it on the market, I can tell the owner, okay, this unit, we have similar units. Right now, we're averaging between 20 to 40 days on the market, just depending, within this range. And then they know, and those expectations are set. Um, and then now on day 21, are they probably calling me like, hey, is it rented yet? And I'm like, well, no, or yes, and it makes a huge difference. And being able to just give them that information, and if you're not able to get easy access to that information as an owner, it's frustrating. And you sometimes, like, the cheap management companies don't provide that,
Yeah.
and you're losing out.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like NetGain, it really does balance that line really well. And it ends up saving you money down the road because you have someone that's actually looking out for you and actually managing your needs. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for, all of your insights and all of your stories. I think that helps a lot of people. Tell everyone where to find you and where to find NetGain.
So you can find me and NetGain on our website, netgainpm.com, NetGain for propertymanagement.com.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for being here, Derek.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you got some good information, inspiration for your business, and we will see you back next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.